All right, so indeed, it's another Friday morning, and of course, we are back here as you would always have it on your screen every Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. It is time for the dialogue. Remember, the dialogue is your favorite current affairs program that airs every Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. with a repeat on Saturdays and also on Sundays at 11 p.m. My name is Randy Ahadzi. Today, as you may be fully aware, the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is in the Volta region. As part of his resetting Ghana tour, he has been to some key areas where he has visited to inspect the ongoing project. We'll bring you all of that. Our focus is on that as well. Day one ended successfully with the visit to key projects that are ongoing. You can talk about the inspection of the new 1,500 capacity multi-purpose assembly hall at the Peki College of Education. There is also the program lineup for the inspection of ongoing road projects, the Asikuma to Anyawase Road, the UHAS bypass, as well as the Anyawase to a whole road, all part of the very important reasons why His Excellency has visited the Volta region. The tour continues today, but we'll also find out where the other areas will be today. But let's get onto the phone lines and speak to the regional minister, Honorable James Gunu. He is my first guest for the show this morning. Hopefully, we get to talk about the other issues that popped up. Yesterday, there was a conversation on the free primary health care. Let's find out as well what this means to the people of the region. We get to speak to a health practitioner based in the region. We'll also talk about the big one that a lot of people believe that is the game changer as far as the economy of the region is concerned. It has to do with the Volta Economic Corridor, which the president reiterated his commitment to yesterday. And what does that mean? We get to speak to an economist also on that one. He is going to tell us much more what you need to know, what are the potential benefits for the people of the region and beyond. But first, let's get to speak to the father of the region. Honorable James Gunu is joining us via the phone. Honorable, good morning. I know you are very busy. Let me not waste too much of your time, but how are you this morning?
Yeah, Randy, I'm fine by the grace of God.
Very well. Honorable, let me even take it from the angle of significance. The president mentioned that narrative that has been propagated over the years that the NDC has not done anything for the region, the NDC doesn't really cater for the region even though they give votes and all of that. He has been able to diffuse that narration, and to a large extent the significance is written all over. For you, where you sit and also the father of the region, what does this particular 2-day visit by the president mean to you?
Thank you very much once again. Let me say good morning to your audience. Also, on behalf of the chiefs and the good people of the Volta region, thank His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama for his commitment to the development of the Volta region. His Excellency the President has done a lot for our region, and as I always say, we went into the 2024 general election highly motivated on 3 key points. The first one has to do with His Excellency the President's track records. So the people of the Volta region chose experience over experiment. Number 2 was the 2024 manifesto of the NDC. That gave us a lot of hope because we have a lot of projects that were outlined in the 2024 manifesto of the NDC. Then the third point, the motivation 3, has to do with the fact that the Volta region only gets significant development when NDC is in power, and is evidence. His Excellency the President came after the elections and thanked us because having gone into the election with these motivations, we gave His Excellency the President 90.2% of the presidential vote. we dropped the MPP's presidential vote from 14% to 8%. Then also, we saw a number of abandoned projects in the region because the region's development went into coma after the NDC lost power in 2016. So we came back, and today, as we speak, the district assemblies are delivering. We have 618 projects that have been undertaken by 18 district and municipal assemblies across the Volta region, ranging from educational infrastructure, health, agriculture, and the rest. Then also, get farm projects for the region. We have over 371 get farm projects across the length and breadth of the Volta region today as we speak. We have 68 senior high schools and senior high technical schools in the Volta region. There is no single one that is not benefiting from this Get Farm project, and colleges of education are not left out. Just yesterday, you mentioned a few minutes ago, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama inspected a multi-purpose 1,500 assembly hall for the Peki Government College, Peki College of Education. We were there, and the president saw this, magnificent edifice on that campus. And this is a project that was started before 2016 that we lost power, and it has been abandoned until we came back to power last year, and then we have completed that project. What is left now is furniture and other equipment that will enable the school to use that facility. And before the end of this month, all those things will be provided to the school, and we'll find a day to inaugurate that particular structure.
Now,
Randy, we also have some development projects that we promise the good people of the region, such as the Keta Port project and the Aflau Market, operationalization of the whole airport, Volta Testa Company Limited at Japan. The president has addressed the issues pertaining to that factory, and then we can talk about the Keta Sea Defense project, which is also about 40% complete now. So the president's visit to this region at this particular point in time has given us a lot of hope, because the government is delivering on its promises. That tells us that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama's second coming was God sent, because when the MPP was in power, we never saw this level of commitment, let alone the infrastructure development we are seeing here today.
Honorable, let me take you back to the mention of the Keta Port and also the Aflau market. I mean, per my last check, especially on the Aflau market, we are told that some funds have been procured, or some loans have been gotten for
His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has secured 30 million grants from the Chinese government for the construction of this edifice. Randy, so thank you very much. We'll have the opportunity to address the people during the town hall meeting this morning, where I will outline the number of projects that we have undertaken over this short period in our government life. Thank you very much.
Honorable, thank you so much for also speaking to us this morning. There you heard Honorable James Gunu. He is the Volta Regional Minister. Who is hosting the president. He was there yesterday, and of course the tour continues today. We're bringing you the various points or the locations where the president will be visiting. But let's have a recap of some of the key issues mentioned yesterday. I told you two things for us to take a look at this morning. One, on the economy, right? The president reiterated the government's commitment to establishing that Volta Economic Corridor. And what does that really mean? Is that really the game changer for the region? Mind you, the region is actually the food baskets as well. You can talk about it when it comes to issues about agriculture, if you talk about issues on tourism and what have you. But to what extent will the people living in the region also benefit? Are we looking at issues of expanding some infrastructure? I mean, sending some factories or companies there. It's something that we'll be talking to an economist about. But moving on from that, also, there is also an issue, a conversation on health. Right, the president mentioned that there will be some recruitment for or space for 16,000 nurses. I mean, there is a practicing medical officer based in the region. He's going to tell us much more about that, what it means to the people of that region and also to the populace in general, and also the mention of the free primary health care. These are the conversations for the morning. Let's do a recap of how events went yesterday. When we come back, we speak to the other guests via phone.
One of our major problems is not only in the numbers, and we'll continue to employ some more. Right now, we're giving him clearance to open the portal to absorb 16,000 nurses in 2 batches. The first batch is 8,000, the second batch is 8,000. So that by the time my daughters and sons who are waiting to complete training camp, there'll be a shorter queue before they are posted. But the caveat we're giving is most of those that we're employing now, we are sending you to underserved areas. And like Florence Nightingale said, she would not... You see, when I said underserved areas, you were very quiet. And like Florence Nightingale said, she gave no excuses nor took any excuses. And so she was ready to serve in any place. Indeed, where she made a name was caring for those who had been wounded during the First World War. She worked in some of the most deplorable conditions, and saw very serious human suffering. But even then, she still gave care with compassion. Many of your oaths you swear, there's one of them that says, at all times, I'll give compassionate and competent care. And so, you might come to work feeling stressed. Maybe you had an argument with your husband before you left the house, or the chop money he gave was not enough, or something happened in the house or along the way to work. When you get to work, you must put all that aside, because psychiatrists and psychologists will tell you that part of healing is to do with the mind. If the mind accepts that the body will heal, then the body heals quicker. And so if you meet your patient and you just give a smile and say, look, you'll be okay, all right? We're going to attend to you. We'll give you the best care. Just those compassionate words, the person's mind sends a trigger to the body that you are going to get well. And truly...
All right, so there you heard the president with regards to the plans for the health sector in the region. I mean, he was at the UHAS as well. But let's get to speak to Dr. Robert Kofi Do. He is the founder of Cedarview Hospital. He's a medical practitioner. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, Randy and the team.
Very well.
It's a pleasure to be on your station this morning.
Very well, Doc. We appreciate your time. Now, you are a health practitioner based in the Volta region. I know your services go beyond just the region. It cuts across the national discourse and even beyond the country. But let's talk about the visit by the president to the region. What does this mean? And the announcement that he's made, what does this mean to the health sector in the region?
Thank you for the opportunity. We are very grateful for the President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, visiting us in the Volta region, and especially we in Ho Central, being the capital of the region, playing host to the President. We are very grateful for all the major developmental works, the road network improvement, expansion of education facilities, building the laboratory for the University of Health and Allied Health Sciences. This would go a long way to improve the training and expand training for healthcare personnel that are in school. And particularly, the opening up of the 24-hour market across the region is one of the things we look forward to that will help our traders maximize their profits. And particularly as a health professional, I'm very grateful for the President for launching the free primary health care policy at the whole municipal hospital yesterday. And I'm very happy that is going to help to expand access to health care in our region.
Talking about that free primary health care policy, I mean, to a layman, and you being a practicing medical officer, what does this mean? What exactly is it?
Thank you. You know, I sit in the consulting room and sometimes in the emergency ward, and you receive patients who are very critically ill. Sometimes a person with stroke, young people, 40 years, 35 years, stroke. You see somebody 35, 40, 50 years with diabetes complications. Some of them come with what we describe as diabetic foot or leg ulcers and all that. Some have gangrene, and you wonder how did these people advance to this very, very late stage of the disease. And we realize that many people do not even know that they are diabetic. They do not know that they are hypertensive. They do not know their medical condition. So this primary health care policy is going to drive health care to people at their various locations, no matter where they are. Whether you are in a village, you are in a city, even some of the people in the city do not go for medical screening. And by the time they realize they are having a particular problem, it is at a very late stage. So to reduce the burden of complications of diseases on various health facilities and to reduce the mortality rate or the morbidity rate, the disability that people suffer as a result of these sicknesses, the government policy to put health personnel in the community, in the children, in the health centers, and even in our schools, and to send them across to be educating people monthly will create the awareness in people and also to improve early detection of diseases, and that will help in mitigating the burden that we have on our health facilities. Because early detection means early treatment, and sometimes with guidance and lifestyle changes, many of these diseases can be prevented.
Doc, would you now say that this policy indeed is the more like the game changer in the health sector, especially in the region? And I know you have worked even in the very deprived areas of the region. Does this really change the narrative? Does this help augment the loopholes in the health system?
Yes. You use the right phrase, game changer. let me give you a practical example. There are people who are watching us in the market now. There are people who are traders. They do not have the luxury of time to move from their uh, trading environment into the hospital. So you see somebody who is selling in the market, somebody who is a driver. They say they don't have time, but this policy is going to send health personnel directly to them in the marketplaces, in the lorry stations, to enhance health awareness and also to take them to do health screening. And the good thing about it is that it's free, and every Ghanaian is entitled to medical screening that is free of charge once a year. And then every Ghanaian is entitled to health education. Maybe it is your church, it is your place of worship, your mosque, wherever you are. Trained health personnel, nurses, public health nurses, doctors will come at least once a month. That is the policy directive, at least once a month, to bring health education, increase public awareness, and promote health. Then for our children, those who are less than 18 years, you know, a lot of kids are born and maybe their parents are not aware, they do not know they have sickle cell, and they grow up and they have all kinds of complications. So as part of the free primary health care policy, children whose parents are sickle cell positive are entitled to free screening for sickle cell, HB electrophoresis, so that these children, nobody will say, I do not have money to check the status of my child and leave the child to suffer complications of sickle cell. So this is a policy that you rightly describe as a game changer, because now we are moving towards preventive care rather than curative care. We want to get people aware, we want to give people early treatment, and we want to give people education that will prevent them from succumbing to sicknesses that they are not aware of. You know, if you do not check for certain sicknesses, you will not know you have them until it is very, very late, which will be too much. Maybe at the time you're having a stroke, or you're having a heart attack, or you're having a kidney disease, or you're having complications of diabetes, gangrene, or an organ failure. But once we are able to reach you at your location and give you early detection, we will hope that will reduce the disease burden. So in fact, it is a game changer.
Look, it comes with a lot of demands or requirements. I mean, first of all, you need to have the the resources, the chips compounds and what have you, to enable this rollout to its full potential. Do we have that as a region? Do we have all of that in place? So talking about infrastructure.
Definitely, definitely, we will not be fully sufficient on any occasion. But we have the basic that we need. We have chief compounds, we have health centers, we have polyclinics, and we have school clinics. Emphasis also on school clinics, school infirmaries. So we have the basic structure that we can use to bring quality health care to our people. The government has also provided basic equipment, blood pressure monitoring devices, sugar testing kits, and weighing scales, and then all that is necessary for health personnel to implement the free primary health care policy. Motorcycles and tricycles have been deployed to various facilities to help the health personnel to reach very remote areas, especially where they do not have access routes to reach. So we have the basics, and the government is doing its best to help the program to succeed. And you know, this service is free of charge. You do not have to have money in your pocket to access this free primary health care. You do not need to have health insurance. But you know, the good thing is that this program is tied to our national health insurance program. So the primary healthcare service delivery person gets to you, the health community health nurse or whoever gets to you, they get you checked, and if they detect something that needs further treatment, they refer you to a nearby clinic or a district hospital where you continue your care. But once you have health insurance, then it means that your continuation of care is free. Okay, so all that any person needs is to show identity. All that you need is your Ghana card or any form of identity, or that you are a legal resident in Ghana. So even if you are a foreigner, once you are a legal resident in Ghana, you can benefit from this free access healthcare. So, Randy, we do not have everything, but the basics that we need for the implementation of this project is there. And I can guarantee you that this will definitely be a game changer in our healthcare.
Very well.
Particularly in an era where we are crying about the burden on our tertiary hospitals. Once we detect things early, diseases early, we can reduce the burden at the tertiary facilities.
Doc, stay with me. I'll come back to you. There was also a mention of the 16,000 nurses, recruitment, as the president announced, but he mentioned specifically that they will be in two folds, a first batch of 8,000 and also another batch of 8,000. I'll come back to you on that, what your take is on that as well. Stay with me. Let me bring in Nelson Kwagbeji. He is the head of finance at Meban Capital. So we got to talk about the butter and bread issues, most especially the mention of the Volta Economic Corridor. Nelson, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on the dialogue.
Good morning, Randy, and thanks for having me.
Nelson, from where you sit and listening to this announcement, reading on it, watching videos, and also listening to commentaries, what does this really even mean to the economy of the Volta region?
All right, thank you very much. If you look at the nature and the geographical location of Volta region, you draw one conclusion that the Volta region is a strategic region when it comes to the overall development of the country. This is because the Volta Reservoir itself is an economic benefit to the larger Ghanaian economy, not only to the Volta region alone, because it stretches all the way from the north down to the south. And the only thing that we use that stretch for fishing. Meanwhile, there are a lot of economic activities that we can generate from that stretch. And so for me, it is a policy that will transform the entire region and also by extension the country, because if you look at the nature of what government intends to do, clearly you could see that the program itself may accumulate more than 500,000 jobs at the end of the day when it is fully implemented. Because the Volta region is primarily noted for agriculture and fishing. However, those two activities are not directly linked to any industrial activity. And so the policy is just a step in the right direction to actually link, the main economic mainstay of the region to industry, so that whatever we produce in the region in terms of farming, in terms of fishing, can be linked directly to industrial activities that will be established when the project finally take off. So I think that in terms of the local economy of Volta region, it's going to create a lot of jobs. It's going to expand the regional GDP of Volta region, and also it's going to reposition Volta region as one of the main contributors towards Ghana's overall economic growth and development.
Argue that you look at the region in its current state, you can't boast of any industrial hub. So it automatically you are going to look at the region being just the supplier of raw products. So indeed the benefit or the dividend that probably they might derive wouldn't be in full. Do you agree with that argument?
Well, I agree with you to some extent, because when you look at the Volta region from the southmost part, which is catered to the north, which ends in Hohoe, you agree that we don't have any, well-established industry or factory that can support the economy of Volta region and create needed jobs for, the people. Meanwhile, Volta region is one of the regions with the highest contribution in terms of human capital. And so what I really want the project to do is to identify the competitive advantage of the region. I mean, because if you implement the program on a wholesale basis, then mistakes that we made in the past may be repeated. And so we need to identify, and that is why I'm very happy that the port that is currently, the construction is currently ongoing in Keta will go a long way to enhance a lot of economic activity, because I mean, the mainstay of people within the southmost part of the region is fishing. And so when you add a harbor to it, then it means that you are expanding the scope of the economic activity. When you come to the middle sector, for instance, the whole area too, we don't really have any much industry there that can contribute to the development of the economy. So I think that we need to identify the competitive advantage of the various strategic locations. When you go to Petro like this, and its environment, they are also noted for kente weaving. This is something that we can develop into a tourism hub. And if you are going to Hokwe Enclave area today, also into a lot of farming. And so we need to identify the various strategic locations, their competitive advantage, that we tailor the Volta Economic Zone to suit whatever they intend to do. Don't forget that the Volta Economic Zone is not only about Volta region, because it spans all the way from Temat up north. And so we need to identify along the chain the strategic competitive advantage of the various locations. Then we can tailor the policy to suit those locations in order to create jobs along the value chain.
And also the issue of, you mentioned the Keta port, that's fine, but also the Aflao market. You know how traders travel all the way from Ghana to Togo just to buy from Ashigame. Now, when the announcement of the Aflao market was made, we thought, yes, indeed, that's actually a game changer. But the realization of it, how do you see, how will this be rolled out from where you see it as an expert in economics? Yeah.
Well, I think the location itself of the market is strategic, because I am very familiar with the operations at the Aflao border, and you realize that. So what will eventually happen is that cross-border, economic activity will be enhanced. And what will also mean is that because most of the people who cross to Togo to go and buy the goods may eventually return the same day. Some of them may be compelled to come and repackage their goods even at the 24-hour economic market in Aflao, because it's just a matter of crossing the border, which also means that when we station the custom and the GRA officials at the market, it will enhance government revenue at the end of the day. And so for the location of the market itself is very strategic in terms of government revenue mobilization and creating of jobs for the locals. But I must also add that the models that they must use for the Aflao market must not be the same as the other 24-hour economy market, because Aflao is a border town. The economic activity at the border is huge. Over millions of Ghana cedis crosses the border on daily basis. And so we need to take advantage of that to expand the scope of the market in Aflao, not only job creation, not only safe market for our market women, but it must be one of the leading, market that rakes in the needed revenue for government in terms of custom duty and in terms of other indirect taxes.
I'm grateful, Nelson. I'll come back to you. I want you to also explain to me what we mean by investor confidence, and whether or not the Volta region it's a right place for something like that. I'll come back to you on that so we can conclude. But let me go back to Dr. Robert Kofi Doe, so we wrap up on the issues of health. Doc, yes, the economic aspect, Nelson has clarified and has mentioned the benefit probably the region will derive from all that is being said by the president or is being done by the government. But let's talk about the recruitment of 16,000 nurses. How significant is that, and how will this contribute to the healthcare provision?
Thank you, my brother, once again. The health system depends largely on the health personnel, the infrastructure, and then the equipment. So if you have the infrastructure, the hospital, and you have the equipment, and you do not have the personnel with the requisite training to man the facility, then the equation will not be complete. So having this number of nurses being recruited is going to go a long way to reduce the burden, the patient-nurse ratio is going to reduce significantly, and our nurses will not be overburdened and stressed at the workplace, so that they can have enough time and provide that exceptional care, that professional care to our patients, you and I included, when we visit the hospital. So again, the success of the free primary health care policy depends a lot on our public health nurses, our community health nurses, and our doctors. So the recruitment drive by the government is something that I welcome so much, because there are a lot of nurses and other health practitioners who have completed their training and are home unemployed, and it's been a worry to many of us young people and healthcare practitioners. So kudos to the health minister and kudos to the president for this bold step that they've taken. Now, I want to touch on a few things. Maybe somebody is just tuning in and wants to know what the free primary health care will cover. I want to mention that free breast cancer screening. You have the chance to go for free breast cancer screening once a year as a woman, and that is free of charge under the free primary health care. We have the free annual medical checkup, which includes blood pressure checking, sugar checking, non-communicable disease education, and most importantly, mental health. You know, mental health is something that many people do not are not cognizant. They don't take cognizance of, and we wait until people get overboard before we know that they are having mental issues. But with this free primary health care policy, if you have access to mental health screening, it can help the health system to diagnose early people who have certain mental issues. Then going to our children, very importantly, vision screening, eye screening for our children, so that we are sure that they have good eyesight before they begin school. And then also to have dental and mental health screening for children between 4 to 18 years. And also for those whose parents, I mentioned this earlier, those whose parents tested positive for sickle cell, they will be given free HB electrophoresis to actually know the type of hemoglobin they are carrying. So it's a very comprehensive package that will help many. And emphasis is on free of charge, because this policy is being funded by government through budget allocation. Part of it is being funded by the SNP contribution that we all make, and then part of it from the National Health Insurance Levy that we all pay. So it's free of charge for every Ghanaian and any legal resident in Ghana.
Doc, thank you. I know you are very busy this morning, but maybe your final words and then we can let you go.
All right. My final word is that the government is making enough efforts to bring healthcare to the doorstep of people, and we must support the government. Those of us who are on national health insurance, let's renew our insurance. Those who are SNP contributed, let us pay our SNP contributions. This will help to sustain this program. And also, I want to encourage all my colleagues, health practitioners, that this program, we should embrace it and make it success and make it a success for the citizenry, because the drive for universal health coverage, this free primary health care program will go a long way to make universal health coverage a success story in Ghana. We want to be the best in the South region and to a large extent in Africa in health service sufficiency. So I call on all health workers, all cadres, let's put our best effort into this to make it a success. And I know that with a free primary health care service, the burden of disease on the citizenry and also the burden of care at the tertiary level, our teaching hospitals, our regional hospitals will reduce because you will be detecting diseases early and treating them and curing people. Thank you very much, WoezorTV, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Doc. Hopefully we catch you up at the other event centers as well. Dr. Robert Kofido is a medical practitioner, the founder of Cedarview Hospital in Hohoe. But let's get back onto the phone lines and wrap up with Nelson Kwagbeji. He's the head of finance, Mervyn Capital. Let's talk about the importance of this whole announcement on the Volta corridor, the economic corridor. But let's talk about the Nelson, if you're there, I mentioned issues of investor confidence. One we even ask, is the Volta region a destination for that? Do we have that investor confidence?
Affirmative. Affirmative. I think the Volta region has all it takes to enhance and invite investors to the region, because number one, we have a stable, in terms of electricity and water supply, very stable. In terms of human capital, as I did indicate, the Volta region is one of the contributors of human capital as far as Ghana's development is concerned. If you look at our road network, driving from Accra to Ho, the road is also good. And don't forget that government is currently doing most of the road in Volta region from Accra to Ho, particularly under the big push project. And if you look at the one that they are doing from the border that Flow to Ho, which is a major economic corridor. So in terms of road network, I think it's good. Then don't forget that we also have an airport. So investors who don't want to use road, we can also fly and land directly in Ho. And so when you put all these factors together, you can only draw one conclusion that yes, in terms of investor confidence, in terms of investor appetite, Volta region is one of the best destinations in terms of investment. And so I think the region is ready. All that we need now is the support of the political leaders and the traditional leaders in the region. I mean, if any investor...
Okay, very unfortunate. I think we have lost Nelson Kwagbeji there, but indeed he's mentioned all that we need to know. He was just wrapping up before the call went off. Probably we can establish contact with him for him to wrap up. But this is the dialogue. We're talking about the president's visits to the Volta region. It's a 2-day event. It started yesterday. He visited key number of places. I'll just run through the various areas quickly so we can all understand the ceremony, the event that is ongoing in the region. So the president yesterday was at so he actually inspected the new 1,500 capacity multi-purpose assembly hall at the Peki College of Education. That was done yesterday. Also, there was a short cutting for the 24-hour economy market at Japon. So that was how the whole day started. On day one, there was a short cutting ceremony for the 24-hour economy market at Japon. Then the inspection of the new 1,500 capacity multi-purpose assembly hall at the Peki College of Education. Also, there was the inspection of ongoing road projects, Asikuma to Anyarase Road, Uhas Bypass and Anyarase to Ho Road. Then there was inspection of the multi-purpose laboratory project on Uhas Sokode campus. Then also the free primary health care program debate that was held at the Ho Municipal Hospital yesterday. And of course, we had that conversation with Dr. Robert Doe and also Nelson Kwagbeji. Is Nelson back? Okay, so Nelson, sorry, we lost you. Just wrap up for me quickly.
Yes, so as I was saying, I'm saying that the Volta region is actually ready to attract any investor, because if you look at in terms of infrastructure, we have what it needs to attract investors. Our road network is good. The one from Aflau to Ho, which is a major corridor, is being worked.
Okay, it happened again. Very unfortunate. Nelson is gone. But guys, that is it. Okay, so let's go back to Ho quickly. Eric Ahianyo is on standby to fill us in with what's happening this morning. Nelson, we sincerely apologize. Maybe we'll come back later to wrap up. But Eric is on. Eric, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Randy.
How are you doing, Senior?
It's great. Ho has always been a beautiful city the environment serene, fresh air, and good for relaxation. So we've had a nice night relaxing with.
You have just 1 minute remaining.
Okay, so Eric, can you hear me? All right, folks, let's take a quick break. When we return, of course, we re-establish contact with Eric. Stay with us.
Across the region, government is expanding healthcare infrastructure. We're strengthening educational institutions. We're improving roads and transport networks. We're modernizing markets. We're supporting agriculture and agro-processing. We're promoting trade and commerce. And we're creating new opportunities for investment and employment for the good people of Ghana. Japan has long occupied an important place in Ghana's economic landscape, and it has earned a reputation as a center of industry, agriculture, and commerce, with its strategic location along the Volta River, positioning it as an important gateway for trade and investment. The surrounding communities are home to hardworking farmers who produce maize, cassava, rice, vegetables, and other food crops that contribute significantly to our national food security. Combined with its industrial heritage and transport links, these advantages provide a strong foundation upon which a modern local economy can flourish. The market whose construction we are beginning today has been conceived as far more than a place for buying and selling. It is being developed as a modern enterprise hub that will support aggregation, storage, processing, packaging, financial services, digital commerce, and efficient distribution, creating the conditions for businesses to expand, become more competitive, and generate sustainable employment. One of our major problems is not only in the numbers, and we'll continue to employ some more. Right now, we're giving him clearance to open the portal to absorb 16,000 nurses in 2 batches. The first batch is 8,000, the second batch is 8,000. So that by the time my daughters and sons who are waiting to complete training come, there'll be a shorter queue before they are posted. But the caveat we're giving is, most of those that we're employing now, we are sending you to underserved areas. And like Florence Nightingale said, she would not... You see, when I said underserved areas, you were very quiet. And like Florence Nightingale said, she gave no excuses nor took any excuses. And so she was ready to serve in any place. Indeed, where she made a name was caring for those who had been wounded during the First World War. She worked in some of the most deplorable conditions, and saw very serious human suffering. But even then, she still gave care with compassion. Many of your oaths you swear, there's one of them that says, at all times, I'll give compassionate and competent care. And so, you might come to work feeling stressed. Maybe you had an argument with your husband before you left the house, or the chop money he gave was not enough, or something happened in the house or along the way to work. When you get to work, you must put all that aside, because psychiatrists and psychologists will tell you that part of healing is to do with the mind. If the mind accepts that the body will heal, then the body heals quicker. And so if you meet your patient and you just give a smile and say, look, you'll be okay, all right? We're going to attend to you. We'll give you the best care. Just those compassionate words, the person's mind sends a trigger to the body that you are going to get well. And truly, the person will get well. One of our major problems.
The world's biggest football festival is here and Ghana is watching together. This June, the Ghana TV Consortium brings you the FIFA World Cup 2026 live and free to air on GTV, Joy Prime, GTV Sports Plus, Adum TV, WoezorTV, Metro TV, UTV, Original TV, Garden City TV, Obono TV, GH1 TV, Ago TV, Onya TV, TV3, Max TV, and Sporty TV. 3 host countries, 48 teams, one unforgettable tournament. Follow every moment of the Ghana Black Stars journey, every rivalry, every goal, and every celebration. Enjoy crystal clear high-definition broadcast with expert local analysis and the passion only Ghanaian broadcasters can deliver. From the opening whistle to the crowning of champions, your football home is right here. The FIFA World Cup 2026. One nation, one consortium. Ghana TV Consortium, bringing you the best of the World Cup. Brought to you by Sportybet, Star Oil, MTN, Pepsodent, Kivo, Polytech, Lavance Tomato Mix, and Heaven Insecticide Spray.
All right, so welcome back. This is the dialogue, and of course, we're taking you back to the Volta Regional Capital Hall precisely. Remember, we told you about the president's 2-day visit to that part of the country. Let's get back onto the phone lines and speak to Senior Eric Ahianyo, who has been with the team all this while. Sorry, sir, we lost you along the line. So you were telling us about your experience yesterday and this morning.
Yes, yesterday was the one of his visit. Before I give you details about how the engagement went, I should tell you in summary that it was very exciting. The people received him well because they have seen signs of campaign promises being fulfilled. The traditional leaders demonstrated that through the presentations they made at separate debates. The people are also excited because they can see some of these development projects, especially in the areas of roads, education, health, and so on. And these are some of the places the president visited. First, he cut the sword for the construction of a 24-hour economy at the Japon district. This is a market. You know, Japan is a commercial town, and many people see this as a hub for serious business. So this construction for the 24-hour model market is supposed to open up that part of the Volta region. Beyond the market, government's objective is to construct this across the 18 districts of the Volta region. During his presentation, the president spoke about the establishment of what he described as the Volta Economic Corridor under the 24-hour economy. This will serve as a central hub for trade and investment in the region. It will integrate agriculture, manufacturing, aquaculture, logistics, and inland water transport. You know, the proximity of Japan to the Volta Lake is just about 15 minutes drive if there's no traffic. And during the conversations around the 24-hour economy, the Accelerated Export Development Program, last year when the 24-hour economy program was launched, the president talked about enhancing businesses within the Volta Lake corridor through irrigation, through agriculture, through the establishment of manufacturing companies, through industrialization. And so this falls within that concept. So basically it's to create ecosystem where production, processing, transportation, and trade will support each other. The president spoke extensively about reviving some of the defunct factories one of which is the Volta Star Textiles. Yesterday, the people were excited when the president announced that a consultant has been identified. This strategic investor will bring in the investment that is needed to put some energy back into the operations of Volta Star Textiles. You know, they are into manufacturing of fabrics. And so people were wondering where the raw materials will come from. And yesterday, the president said government is in consultation with Benin, which is just two countries away. You know, after Togo, you go through Benin and then Nigeria. And Benin is known for the production of cotton. And so Ghana is creating that already a ready market for the export of the cotton, raw cotton to Ghana for the production of the fabrics. So that also came up. The president also inspected some major road projects under the big push. This is very, very significant because if you look at the Volta region, many people will agree agriculture is key. Beyond some mineral deposits that have been found here, government identifies this belt together with Eastern region, parts of Oti region, which connects the Northern region over the Volivo Bridge, which will soon see some construction, was also under discussion. Yesterday, he inspected the Isikuma Anyanawase Highway, the Uhas Bypass, and the Anyanawase Whole Road. This project is going on simultaneously under the Big Push initiative. And the president also went through the Isikuma Hohoi Oti region. This particular project, which is under construction, is to carve out a seamless transport to link the northern belt of this country. Don't forget that this Big Push initiative is happening all over the country. The president, during his presentation, even when he was campaigning across the country and when he made his first State of the Nation address, he made it clear that government's immediate priority was to connect the major city, the major regional capitals. So anybody who has been traveling around the country would know that the main road, highway connecting Accra, Cape Coast, Takoradi, is under construction. The major road connecting Accra and Kumasi is also under construction beyond the expressway, which is supposed to enhance the movement of goods and services. The main road from Accra to Ho is also under construction, same for Accra and then Aflao. Beyond this, there are several interconnecting highways. These are happening in the Bono region. If you go to the northern belt, for example, you would notice that from Kumasi through Wenchi to Boli to Wa, all these road projects are being constructed. So the president spoke to it. But the reason why he made reference to the Big Push and the concerns being raised by some traditional leaders is that beyond these major artery roads, some of the traditional authorities are making reference to other equally important roads. So the president yesterday announced that the next budget, the 2027 budget, will consider some of these roads. So they'll be done in phases. Scoping on some of these roads, he said, have already started. After that place, the president also visited the University of Health and Allied Sciences. This is where there was a lot of excitement because this university is a baby of the NDC government back then in 2012 under then President John Evans Atamils. It was established at that time with just about 150 people. We are told by authorities that the university now has a student population of over 11,000. What is significant is the state-of-the-art medical lab that is being constructed for the school. It started in 2014. The project progressed until 2016 when government left office and handed over to the new government. And since then, the project was abandoned. But this government came and this project has been revived. It's about 80% complete. The president visited it yesterday, and we are told that when it is completed, it will create a bit more opportunities for the people by way of creating some opportunities for students, not only in Ghana, but in Togo, Nigeria, Benin, and the sub-region basically. This morning, the president, as we speak, is just arriving shortly at the whole sports stadium. When he comes here, he will basically look at the state of this abandoned whole stadium project for a long time because it's been in the books. Many sports enthusiasts have been speaking about the need for the rehabilitation of this stadium, which is now in a very, very dilapidated state. It has come up for conversation severally. And President Mahama, as part of the tour of his visit, will pass through briefly to be informed about the state of the stadium as we speak and what it will take to lift it up by way of rehabilitation, or if possibly to break it down and build an entirely new project. The climax of today's program is what is called the Citizens Deba. The Citizens Deba will be held at the Ho Technical University. When you look at the president's working visits across the country, the Citizens Deba is a two-way affair. The president takes advantage to speak to the people about government's policy initiatives to improve the lives of the people. It is narrowed down to specific interventions, specific development projects that are happening in the region specific where the president visits. So today at Ho, the president, through his appointees, will be speaking to the people in the Volta region, one, about the major policy interventions that are supposed to enhance the economy, attract investments, boost businesses, etc. But then the people's interest will be in what the government is doing for the people of the Volta region. So this morning, Honorable James Kunu, who is the Volta Regional Minister, will give an update on ongoing projects in the Volta region across all the 18 districts. The presentation, we are told, will be backed by a PowerPoint presentation which will show evidence of the status of some of the projects. After that, Kwame Agboja governs, the MP for Adaklu. Adaklu is just sharing border with the whole district. And we are told that he's going to speak specific to major road projects ongoing in the Volta region. The Minister for Health, Kobina Minta Kando, is also billed to speak on plans for the construction of more health facilities, the retrofitting of existing facilities, including the whole teaching hospital. You know, the reason why the whole teaching hospital is of interest to issues about the need to expand it is because of the University of Health and Allied Sciences, which is training health professionals. And so if this facility is expanded, it will open up opportunity for them to get hands-on direct training or practical training before they pass out of these institutions. The MP for Ketu South, Abla Jifa Gomashi, will also be speaking about tourism development in the Volta region. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, who is also MP for North Tong, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, will speak extensively on Ghana's foreign policy engagements. And then Joseph Nipe will also talk about the transport sector with specific reference to the Keta Port project and the operationalization of the whole airport. You come from this whole area and you know a lot of conversation that has gone on about the whole airport. We know that government is looking at putting up a training facility for aviation or students into aviation, but they are also going beyond that to look at how they can operationalize the whole airport. The local government minister will also be speaking, and then this minister may have to go beyond just talking about what the local government ministry is, but especially on the whole, on the Aflao market project. Last year, when the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, visited China, you remember he secured a Chinese grant of about $30 million for this specific project. So he'll be updating the people of the Volta region about the status of that project. And then His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will take his turn. There'll be room for question and answer. What I've observed in some of these working visits to the regions is that the people first speak to the direct impact of some of the policies on them, and then they make fresh demands on what they think government may have overlooked, and the need to give priority to them, and where there are complaints, they lodge it, and where chiefs have issues about projects that are slow, they also come up. And the ministers take turn to answer, or the president answers them directly. So today will be a packed afternoon starting from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, where His Excellency will be engaging the people. What is that? The Resetting Ghana Citizens Engagement.
Eric, thank you. But from your objective view, the ongoing project, does it look like the timeline given to some of these projects will be met, especially the roads?
Yes, yesterday, when the president was being briefed about some of the road projects he inspected, the regional director of the Highways Authority said, for example, some of the stretches had seen significant improvement. She made a specific reference to some of the roads that I mentioned, and I want to refer to these corridors. The Isikuma and Irawasi Highway, the UHAS bypass, and the Irawasi Whole Road. She said First Sky, for example, was supposed to have been doing about 25 to 28% of the job, but as we speak, is about 35% complete. The president was also assured that the new road, or the road that is being rehabilitated between Ho through some of the communities to the new Aflao border, is also likely to be completed and handed over by the close of the year. So generally, they gave the impression that many of the contractors are working up to expectations and the jobs were going on steadily. They even said that the project, and this is specific to the presentation by the Minister for Roads and Highways, he said that several jobs were being created and that many people saw the construction as an opportunity to set up business, including the petty traders who do tabletop food business. So the people are happy. They showed some evidence by way of pictures that were displayed about how the status of the road was, and as we speak, where they are, and the major storm drains and culverts that were being constructed to pave way for the leveraging and then the bitumen spread before the completion of the roads.
Very well, Eric, thank you. Thank you so much. I know you are preparing for the day's activities, but maybe your final words on this, and then we can wrap it up.
Well, I think that what I am witnessing is good for governance, because the president cannot fold his arms, sit in Accra, and assume that the reports he gets from his appointees are just as it is on the ground. When he embarks on such visits, he can see for himself the status and compare notes with the briefings he receives on perhaps daily basis or periodically, and then hear directly from some of the traditional authorities who pour their hearts out. Where they have to be happy, they express it. Where the people are not too happy, they make reference to them. Yesterday, for example, when we went to the University of Health and Allied Sciences, after he was briefed about the lab project, the authorities there referred him to the inner roads within the university campus. I have been to the University of Ghana severally. I've been to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. You cannot compare UCC, Legon, and Tech, as we say it just for short, to the University of Development Studies and, by extension, the University of Health and Allied Sciences. So they made a specific request to the president to construct, or at least improve on the roads within the campus to give it a facelift. And the president said because the contractors are on the stretch at the UHAS bypass to Anyanawase, he assured them that before the contractor packs and leaves site, that project will be completed. Maybe if the president were not there, he might not have appreciated the extent of the demand and the immediate response that came. So it is work in progress. It is governance which is extended to the people. And for me, if the people will wake up and show interest and tell the president where is good, praise him, and where it is bad, demand and seek responses, we can take our governance to another level.
Eric, thank you. Thank you so much. Most definitely we'll come back to you in the course of the day. Very well. So viewers, there you heard Eric Ahianyo also adding his voice to the two-day visit by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to the Volta region. Very important areas to visit, and I'm so excited about the things that Eric has mentioned. One, on the whole sports stadium. Remember, I mean, we spoke about this over and over and over and over again. I even led a demonstration on that facility. I remember I got to a point I was even banned. It's a matter we'll talk about later. But let's watch this. It has to do with the question I asked the president some time back with regards to the whole airport and also the Aplau market. Let's take a look at it.
I'm very sorry that...
All right, thank you. My name is Ahadzi, WoezorTV. Mr. President, it's been 6 years now the whole airport was completed. It's in a sorry state, I must say. The last time we had a commercial flight there was in 2022. And per my checks, we have spent close to a little over 2 million Ghana cedis in terms of maintenance in the last 2 years. Yet, the place can be best described as a white elephant. Mr. President, what will you do in your next administration to ensure that the whole airport gets some revitalization?
Thank you very much.
I brought this back just as a reminder that we asked the questions, and happily enough, today that briefing will be given, the status of that airport and all that you need to know will be mentioned today. The regional minister in an earlier conversation also said it, that he will brief the president on all that you need to know as far as the airport, the whole the Aplau market, the Big Push project, and all the other ongoing projects in the region are concerned. Trust yours truly, WoezorTV. We'll bring you all the live updates with regards to this ongoing visit by the president to the Volta region. And keep your doubts locked here with us. Here we draw curtains on today's edition of the Dialogue. I want to say a very big thank you to all our viewers, especially the Kenke Sellers Association in Somanya. Charlie, we are grateful. It's been a long time, eh? It's been a long time. We send some shout out to you guys. Shout out to you for always watching. I mean, when you get to Somanya, you know that cave and the station on the left side, they have decided to put a big giant screen there. So anytime, any day, anywhere you find yourself there, it is WoezorTV. And thanks to all the other institutions that are always tuned to WoezorTV just to catch all that we bring out as well. We are so grateful. But let me also use the opportunity to say a very big thanks to the team. Yes, the team for helping put this one together. My name is Ahadzi. It's a weekend, and please, the weather is looking, you know already, very cloudy all over in the capital city and other parts of the country. I understand who precisely it had some rain showers this morning. Please, me pamucho we de maminka tree me pamucho why se mu pie mu fie mu fa umbrella na mu fa raincoat. Wow. Woso se wa se unkoye hwi wo town a menko menpie why wo de dware na fa eduane bi aka wo dem wow se we a na wodi na woda menfosi wo hu se wo ko abonti why nsio beto nsio no se to a una wa unim. And in that same vein, we have seen videos of people, irresponsible people, pouring refuse into the gutters again. Nipa we se munchi omu a munfa omu ko we assembly for ni ho wow se munchi nipa or the refuse akọ go wo gutter munchi nu ati enti nsuo nu yen play safe ati I say yen safe say unya baby if you don't have anything to do in town, please don't go out. My name is Ahadzi. Stay safe, stay out of trouble. Let's meet again next week. It's a wrap for now. Bye-bye.
Across the region, government is expanding healthcare infrastructure. We're strengthening educational institutions. We're improving roads and transport networks. We're modernizing markets. We're supporting agriculture and agro-processing. We're promoting trade and commerce. And we're creating new opportunities for investment and employment for the good people of Ghana. Japan has long occupied an important place in Ghana's economic landscape, and it has earned a reputation as a center of industry, agriculture, and commerce, with its strategic location along the Volta River, positioning it as an important gateway for trade and investment. The surrounding communities are home to hardworking farmers who produce maize, cassava, rice, vegetables, and other food crops that contribute significantly to our national food security. Combined with its industrial heritage and transport links, These advantages provide a strong foundation upon which a modern local economy can flourish. The market whose construction we are beginning today has been conceived as far more than a place for buying and selling. It is being developed as a modern enterprise hub that will support aggregation, storage, processing, packaging, financial services, digital commerce, and efficient distribution, creating the conditions for businesses to expand, become more competitive, and generate sustainable employment.